Hi guys, Ronnie here. A quick checkup today on this Canyon Endurace. This bike came in with a wobbly steering head, so there was play in the bearings, and I had to play along quite a lot with it because, to be honest, this is one of the stupidest designs on bicycles I have ever seen. And to explain that, I'm going to show you how this headset works. So first of all, Canyon uses specific sizes for both of their bearings and this kind of preload adjusting top cap, and the bearings have a different diameter from anything else on the market, so you can't buy them. So the first thing that's really annoying is that these are not drop-in bearings. You have to actually use a bearing press tool, as you may have seen, to put them in. But since this is a bike with quite a tall head tube, I couldn't use my bearing press tool properly because it was just too short. But I got around that nevertheless. But since they use an oversized steerer and a very narrow steerer tube, the bearing itself is really tiny when it comes to girth, and that means that this bike is just over a year old and the lower bearing has a lot of play in it, so it's useless. The top bearing was okay, so I didn't want to change that because punching out a bearing like that is not really good for the frame. I couldn't use my bearing extractors either because of the strange design, so that's the first thing that's really annoying. The second is the preload itself. So of course, since it's an oversized head tube, you can't really get any preload cap to properly work with it. So it had this KCNC preload cap in there, but this is probably even stupider than the headset itself, because it works in a way that you tighten. It has no hex inner head like most preload caps, but you actually have to put the top cap screw in it to make it tight. As you can see here, it's written in there. But then when you try to torque down the headset cap, the top cap, then you actually unwind it, so you can't really get proper tension with it unless you mess around for an hour with it. And then you've got this stupid little device, which is basically a movable spacer. In the inside you can see that there's a ramp in it, so if you tighten the screw, this whole thing expands. Now this would work if it was a proper metal unit or some carbon fiber or something like that, but since it's a cheap piece of plastic, you can't really put too much tension in there. So I tried to I changed the lower bearing that was worn out, and I botched an NV compression plug in there to fit snugly so I could properly tighten it, but I was really frustrated because it was still loose, and I thought it was play in the top bearing as well, but that was okay. So then I found out that the problem lies with this spacer in here. Well, this basically is a compression sleeve that holds your fork in place when you take off the stem and everything in the most standard bearings, and in most cases it's made out of metal. But as you can see now, if I put it in the top bearing, there's a huge amount of play in there. Of course it should be normal and without play when you put the fork in it, but it's not, because the metal is just a piece of plastic and the tolerance is not good. So that was the main reason that caused the bearing play in there. So if this was made properly out of metal and and to the proper tolerance, then it should be snug. But again, I had to patch this up with a piece of insulating tape, so not a brilliant design, all things considered. So yeah, quick update on the Canyon service. If you've got this bike and you've got problems, hopefully this will help you a bit. And if you'd like to know more about some other bikes that are a bit better designed, then don't forget to tune into my channel and subscribe. That's all for today, thanks for watching and see you next time.